Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNS. Let's get to the news now, folks. Today we have some intriguing news coming out of the NFL, and it's got a lot of implications for the AFC North, especially for the Cleveland Browns. We've seen a lot of movement and a lot of rumors swirling around, and this latest development could be a game changer for Cleveland's ambitions this season. So buckle up, because what I'm about to tell you not only affects the division, but has the potential to shake up the entire landscape of the NFL. And no, I'm not talking about some minor detail. This is big. So let's dive into what's happening and what it means for the Browns, for the division, and for the league at large. To understand this, we need to go back a little bit and look at the recent draft saga involving Shedeur Sanders. Now, for months leading up to the NFL draft, many experts and fans had Shedeur pegged as a first-round pick, a guy with all the tools, the pedigree, and the potential to be a transformative quarterback in the league. But surprisingly, he fell all the way to the 5th round. That's a steep slide, especially considering the buzz and the hype that surrounded him beforehand. Naturally, speculation started flying, and some fans and pundits began suggesting all sorts of theories, some even alleging that league-wide collusion was at play, trying to keep him out of certain teams' hands. It was a wild narrative, and honestly it created quite a bit of buzz on social media and sports talk shows. But interestingly enough, not everyone bought into the conspiracy theories. Stephen A. Smith, a well-known voice in sports media, offered a different perspective. He appeared on ESPN's First Take and made a very bold statement, claiming that it wasn't some league-wide conspiracy, but rather a targeted punishment against Deion Sanders, Shedeur's father. According to Smith, the league wanted to send a message, and that message was to Deion, who's one of the most charismatic and influential figures in sports today. Smith argued that the NFL was trying to punish Deion Sanders, a legendary cornerback turned coach, for his outspoken personality and his influence on the game. And in that process, Shedeur was caught in the crossfire, falling to the 5th round as a sort of unintended consequence. Now, folks, this kind of claim is big. It's controversial, and it's certainly not something you hear every day. But it does raise some interesting questions about how NFL teams evaluate talent, and whether politics, personality, or league dynamics can influence draft decisions. Smith's theory suggests that the NFL wanted to send a message to Deion Sanders, perhaps because of his outspoken nature, his coaching style, or maybe even his past as a player who challenged the status quo. The idea is that by punishing Shedeur, the league was indirectly targeting Deion. Whether you believe that or not, it's hard to ignore how much attention this story has garnered and how it might be connected to broader league politics. But let's get back to what matters for Cleveland Browns fans. Because whether or not you buy into this conspiracy theory, what's clear is that Shedeur Sanders' fall in the draft opens up some interesting possibilities. For one, it highlights how unpredictable the draft can be and how certain players might slip through the cracks despite their talent. And for Cleveland, this is a reminder that the draft is always a gamble, but also an opportunity. The Browns, who have been building a solid roster with a focus on youth and talent, could see opportunities to pick up players who others overlook, players with high upside but perhaps some question marks that scare other teams away. Speaking of the Browns, it's impossible not to talk about their current roster and their prospects this season. Cleveland has been steadily improving, especially on offense. With Deshaun Watson leading the charge, the team has shown flashes of brilliance, and the addition of young talent has been key to their recent success. But what really excites Browns fans is the potential for growth and the possibility of making a real splash this year. The AFC North, as you all know, is one of the most competitive divisions in the league. The Ravens are always tough, the Bengals have a dynamic offense, and now the Steelers are retooling and looking to bounce back. So every move, every draft pick, and every roster decision counts even more in this context. Now let's take a moment to analyze Cleveland's current situation. the Browns have a solid core with a strong offensive line, a promising young defense, and a quarterback in Watson who, when firing on all cylinders, can be a difference maker. But what's been missing at times is consistency and a little bit of that extra spark that elevates a team from good to great. That's where draft picks, free agency, and strategic moves come into play. And given the recent stories about Shedeur Sanders and the draft, it's a reminder that every decision can have ripple effects. For Cleveland, targeting players who might have slipped in the draft or who are undervalued by the league could be the key to pushing the team over the edge. Another aspect to consider is the coaching staff and how they're preparing the team for this season. Kevin Stefanski has been doing a commendable job, and with some new pieces added to the roster, the Browns are aiming for more consistency and explosive plays. The development of young players, especially on offense, will be crucial. If the Browns can maximize their potential, especially with a quarterback like Watson, who has shown both flashes of brilliance and some inconsistency, they could pose a serious threat to their division rivals. And as we move closer to the season, the focus will be on how well Cleveland can blend veteran experience with youthful energy. Now, shifting gears a little, let's talk about some of the statistical highlights from the Browns' recent games and what we can expect going forward. Cleveland's offense has been somewhat balanced, but the key to their success will be how well they can protect Watson and create opportunities downfield. The offensive line has been a strength, but injuries and adjustments are always part of the game. Defensively, Cleveland has been solid, with a focus on creating turnovers and stopping the run. These elements are essential in today's NFL, where speed and versatility are king. Looking ahead, the Browns are definitely in a position to contend. They have a talented roster, a coaching staff that's proven to get the most out of players, and a fan base that's hungry for another playoff run. The AFC North remains tough, but Cleveland's strategic moves and the potential for some surprise draft picks, maybe even someone overlooked like Shedeur Sanders, could give them an edge. It's all about execution, resilience, and staying healthy through the grueling season. And as we wrap up, it's important to remember that the NFL is unpredictable, and that's part of what makes it so exciting. Every season brings new surprises, new stories, and new heroes. Cleveland Browns fans, you know that your team has been on quite a journey over the years, sometimes full of heartbreak, sometimes full of hope. But one thing remains constant: the passion, the loyalty, and the belief that your Browns can rise again, compete with the best, and maybe, just maybe, bring home that elusive Super Bowl trophy. So keep your eyes on the team, stay positive, and get ready for what promises to be an exciting season ahead. Because in Cleveland, we don't give up, and we always believe that the best is yet to come. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Cleveland Browns news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick, and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. So wrapping this all up, what can we really take away from this story? Well, first, the draft is never as predictable as it seems. There's always a story behind the scenes, whether it's league politics, team strategies, or player evaluations. Cleveland fans should always keep an eye on how teams approach their picks, because sometimes the most overlooked players turn out to be the biggest surprises. Second, the AFC North remains one of the most competitive divisions in football. Every team is looking to climb the ranks and make that playoff push, and Cleveland's recent moves, combined with their resilience and talent, make them a dark horse this season. And lastly, this story about Shedeur Sanders and the NFL draft reminds us that behind every player, every team, there's a bigger story, a narrative shaped by talent, opportunity, and sometimes a little bit of league politics. Now I want to hear from you, Browns fans. What's your take on all of this? Do you believe there's more to Shedeur's draft slide than meets the eye? Do you think Cleveland has what it takes to make a deep playoff run this year? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cleveland Browns community as a whole. And don't forget, I'll be back very soon with more updates, analysis, and news about your beloved team. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and as always, go Browns!